Charlie, let me know when you're ready for me to bring this gentleman in.
Kathy, you okay?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, bring him
Okay.
in.
Don't think.
Is this account 543?
Mr. Burritt?
Yes.
No, 1440. Case 1440. Hello, Mr. Barrett.
Hello.
Hello, this is Charlie Powers of the Appraisal Review Board. We have some administrative to go through before we get down to the heart of the matter. Just follow along with me. I may have some questions as I go along.
Okay.
We're opening a hearing on case ID 2020-1440, account 59336.
Hello? Did you get the form? You didn't get it. Did you get an email from me?
This hearing is being recorded. We are the Appraisal Review Board and we'll be hearing your protest today.
I sent it.
On the panel today is myself, Charlie Powers, Robert Dayton, and Kathy Hoffman. We do not work for the Appraisal District. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. The Comptroller's Office provides an electronic survey for you to offer feedback about your experience today that may be accessed at the Appraisal District office or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary. We do appreciate it if you take it. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. We have all of your evidence.
I can't talk on the Zoom call. That's
Okay.
Bobby,
Oh, hold on a second.
Lola, we have all your evidence.
Yes, sir, you do.
Very good.
We're going to close at 4:30.
I'll point out that Lola was the one who signed the affidavit.
We both sent in an affidavit.
Affidavits? Okay.
I sent one in first. Bobby sent one in afterwards.
Okay.
You can't do both, dear.
Hold on, I told her it was
Okay.
correct.
I see the other one. I
I'm
got.
going to have to call you back, Reggie. Okay.
ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I'll begin with I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F, and I am currently located in the state of Texas.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F, and I am currently located in Texas.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F, and I'm currently located in Texas.
My name is Val Smith. I'm a notary public. I am witnessing Mr. Powers, Mr. Dayton, and Ms. Hoffman's signatures via Zoom, and I am physically located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Mr. and Mrs. Burnett, I'm assuming that you are both under oath as you signed the affidavit.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Do either of you hold a Texas appraiser's license?
No, sir.
No.
Do you have available to you the procedure times, the hearing procedure times?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Then you can see at the top, you get to choose whether you go first or the district goes first. Which would you choose to do?
I would choose to go first, please.
Okay, you have
Okay,
5 minutes.
Lola, you have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Lola Burrett, and we have filed a protest concerning our property taxes being raised over 200% this year. We sent a lot of evidence in. What we want to get into is the exhibit number 1 first. And exhibit number 1, whenever we were sent the packet of information from the appraisal district, on page 2, I believe it's paragraph 5, it says the date of your appraisal is January 1st, so you should make sure that changes made before that date are included in the appraisal. Improvement or damage to your property after January 1st should not be part of the appraisal or the protest. So part of what we're standing on, for one thing, is that we did not buy this property until February 21st. And exhibit number 2 is just the submitted page from property tax law deadlines at the Texas Comptroller's website. It states that the taxable values are determined for the tax year on January 1st. Texas Tax Code, Chapter 23, Title 1, Property Tax Code, same thing, except as otherwise provided by this chapter, all taxable properties appraised at its market value as of January 1st. That's Exhibit 3. Exhibit 4 that we submitted, it is kind of wrapped up with Exhibit 5. It's 2 different pages. One, the Exhibit 4 page that we sent you is included within the packet. At the bottom of the page, it stated effective date of appraisal is January 1st. On January 1st, 2020, we did not own this property, and there was no reason for it to get a new assessment after that. But the appraisal on January 1st on that page says $18,840. And then if you look at Exhibit 5, the property details printed from the appraisal district on January 10th states that the tax is due for 2020 without exemptions of $415.82. That's based upon the $18,840 assessment. The appraisal district is misrepresenting the effective date of the $63,100 assessment being January 1st. There's 2 different papers. One says January 1st is $18,400. The other one says January 1st is $63,100. So one or the other should count. Exhibit number 6 states with the Texas Constitution sets out 5 standards for property tax. One states that all tangible property must be taxed on January 1st, with some exceptions. The exceptions don't fit our property. We've purchased properties in the past, never had the taxes changed. Let's see what else I have here. Okay, yeah, let's see. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit slow here. I'm not good at this. I'm not a lawyer. Exhibit number 6 and 7. Submit a page from the comptroller, which is exhibit number 6, that is what I just told you. And number 7 is the market value with some exceptions. We don't fit on any of the exceptions. We were sent sales ratios and by the appraisal district, and those are exhibit number 10. They submitted 26 properties with a sales ratio evidence. Our property exceeds 61% of the other properties by 10%. Only 4% of those properties had a sales ratio higher than ours. 85% of the properties they submitted as evidence have a lower sales ratio than our property. And from our understanding, that should be something to be taken into consideration to lower our taxes. We don't feel like that's equal and uniform taxation.
Okay, you have about 52 seconds. Or anything else you want to add?
In exhibit number 8, remedy for unequal appraisal, if the appraisal ratio of the property exceeds by 10% the median level of appraisal of a reasonable and representative sample of other properties, then that should be taken into consideration, is something that we also found. Our property has been raised, property taxes, and this is for dirt alone. We don't have anything, no structures at all on this property. We have dirt and a slab that was raised to $8.49 a square foot, over 200%. And as I said, I want to go back to the very first thing. We have two different printouts. One of them says the January 1st was 18,000 and the other one says January 1st was 63. So somewhere we feel like the law is being stretched and that we're not being treated in a reasonable manner. And as far as bringing up the taxes when the law says that January 1st is your cutoff date.
Okay, Lola, your time's up for the moment. You'll have some more time in a few minutes. Right now, it's time for the district has 2 minutes to cross-examine and then 5 minutes for their presentation, so 7 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll point out the thing where it says that the date of appraisal is January 1st, so you should make sure that the changes made before that date are included in the appraisal. Improvements or damage to your property after January 1st should not be part of the appraisal. The sale of your property is not an improvement or damage of the property. It's just an event. That's all it is. It's not a change. A change or an improvement being made would be like a kitchen being renovated. Damage would be like a garage being destroyed, not the fact that it's sold. It's not an improvement or damage.
Right. Agreed.
Every appraisal has a date. Whether it's real estate or anything, if I appraise a watch, it has a date attached to it. And the data used to appraise that thing does not have to come from prior to that date. If that were true, then you could never really effectively appraise anything if it's old enough. So the date of appraisal that's the value we're saying a property has on January 1st of 2020. That's not to say that we only used information that was confirmed prior to 2020. For example, if you think of a house that just got built and it got done in November and it's just sitting there waiting for a buyer, it doesn't sell till February. It doesn't become worth more in February when it sells. It's been worth that the entire time. It just hadn't happened yet. So your sale, your purchase of this property indicated that the value, even on January 1st, was much different than what we had it appraised for in prior years. If we were to make a change from January 1st to the date you sold it, what you're talking about is called a time adjustment. And a time adjustment of that magnitude would make your property worth over $3.5 million next year. It's way too far. What your sale is telling us is that $18,000 was wrong. That this is not $19,000 worth of land. And if it was $19,000 worth of land, you wouldn't have bought it for anywhere close to 60. So that's where that comes from. We're not backdating any data. We're not restricted from, and as a matter of fact, when we're judged, they judge us from the comptroller's office. They use data as late as June of the following year. So after our notice and certification dates are passed, there's still sales that they're judging us on. So the window of sale data is pretty much whatever you can get. On a practical level, the question we're asking is, what do we think this land is worth on January 1st, 2020? So just so you know, that's what's going on. There's no law being stretched. This isn't unusual. This isn't even unusual for any kind of appraisal. It's necessary. That's how appraisal work happens. It doesn't affect the fact that the date of appraisal is January 1st. We're saying the conditions of your property on January 1st. That's what's relevant. Okay, I will go ahead and present our evidence into the record for this account. It is 59336. And it is a vacant land property in Lamar. There are, the only improvements on it is there's a $1,200 worth of concrete. There's no TP, there's no sheds, there's no carport. It's just a piece of land on Lakeside Drive. The sale comps, the sales grid starts with the sale of the subject. The subject was purchased in March for $62,100. The property was noticed at $63,100. There are other sales that are not just the sale of this one parcel. There's a sale on St. Charles Bay Drive of a 25,000 square foot, $25,000 lot. Sorry, it's only 3,000 square feet. It sold for $60,000. And then there was a $6,200 square foot lot on South Lake Drive, sold for 120 because it did have an improvement on it. It has a house, about $40,000 worth of house. What this is saying is that the 62.1 that we're assuming that the property owner paid, to the best of our knowledge, that was the sale price, was not actually overpaying. That it was actually, if anything, it was a fine deal. They didn't do a bad job buying this for $62,000 at all. So even if they were to pay more than that, the indicated median value based on market activity, not just this one sale, is $73,110. It would not be unusual for this to sell for $73,000 or somewhere thereabouts. That was the reason for the change. It wasn't just the one property. It was activity in all of Lamar. We don't have any sales in there for years and years and years and years and years, and land is always appreciating. And then all of a sudden something sells and we find out how much stuff is worth. The equity grid is, I believe Q2 is the only thing that was marked under protest.
Yes.
Equity grid is going to show other properties that are not necessarily sales to show, are we appraising this piece of land fairly like everybody else? Or is this one getting some special treatment? And you can see there, it's just on a land schedule. The comps that we're using here are just from the same street, 258 Lakeside, 264B, and 252 Lakeside and 214 South Lake. They're all at $8.50 a foot for the land. That was what it was moved to this year. It wasn't just this one property. This entire little area was affected by market activity. The sale of the subject was one of them. The ratio report included is for all of Lamar, and it shows that we are overall at 97% in Lamar. And what that means is that our values are 97% of the things that, of the number they actually sell for. So if something sells for 100,000, we tend to have 97,000 on it. We're supposed to be at 1, at exactly what things are selling for. So we're actually light. And when it was brought up that most of these sales ratios are low, what that's actually telling you is that our numbers skew low. And that if anything, our values are lower than the market is telling us they should be. Trying to get that worked to 1 is that's the whole point. And so the sales ratio report was included by way of illustrating how are we doing on appraising property in Lamar. And we're a little behind in Lamar. We're a little light. But on this subject property, equity-wise, it's perfect. There's no equity issues at all. But the market, it does say that we're under market on it. There is a sort of reasonable case to be made that if the subject did sell for less than $63,110, that it should be adjusted to that for at least this year. So I guess I'll ask that now. Was the purchase for less than $63,110?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, your time's up. Lola, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal, so 4 minutes to ask questions or provide additional information.
Okay, thank you. On the properties that you cited as comparisons, all of those, as far as I know, and I'm no expert, so don't think I'm trying to tell you I am, are proposed values. And I don't understand how comparisons can be made on proposed values. If you guys were to rule and say that our property, yeah, we messed up, we gave you 2 different values on January 1st, we had one printed that said 63.1, we printed another one that said 18,400, we're going to adjust it. that's going to bring down my property value, hopefully, if that's what happens. And if these people protest, then theirs is going to come down. So I know it's probably legal, but I don't understand how it can be fair to use proposed values as comparisons.
You can go ahead and answer that.
It's a little difficult to unpack. Okay, so there's only one number given for the year. It's your notice value, just one. There's not two. 18 was last year. Last year's certified value. It was 18 something. The equity grid, all that's showing you is that we're not doing anything to you and your property that we're not doing to everybody around you, that we're not going out and just gouging one person, doing something unethical, that we're saying, I think this guy deserves to pay extra, let's make his land worth twice as much. It's just showing you every piece of land is just on a land schedule. There's nothing unfair or unequitable going on with the way we're doing the appraisal. The thing that is driving our decision to make the change is market activity. And the market activity those are things that we're comparing, saying, what is the market actually doing? How much is this land worth? The equity part is just seeing if we applied that to other people, or did we do it to just your house, you know? And it's just to show it was the whole neighborhood.
I believe that it was some of the, I've no disagreement there, but I mean, our next door neighbor is paying $4.67 on his land, and ours is appraised at $8.49. I know that there's other properties that are appraised for less and more, and some of the comparables I turned in to start with were $6.37 right across the pond. Ray told me that it was important to find comparisons that abut upon, and so I did that. And tried to find ones that weren't just covered up by water or whatever. I tried to keep it within reason. All of those are run from $6.70, $4.67, $6.37. They're all lower. I mean, everything that I can find is pretty well coming in lower. I'm not going to say every property's lower and we're mistreated. This is just a business.
And another problem we have is that we bought closed on the property on the 21st of February. Stewart Title, of course, went in and prorated the taxes, so the seller would pay their part of the taxes. They used what you had on your website and brought it up, and they paid, haven't got it in front, they paid $57.90 prorated taxes. Now, with the new figures and everything that you put on it, they should have paid $198.64. That's $140 that we're losing out on, because the wrong information or the different information was on your website that we pulled the taxes off of. And that was Stewart Title.
Our website wasn't wrong. Stewart Title did that in an inefficient way. That's not a good idea. There's a lot of reasons not to do that beyond value changing. If you buy a house and you prorate the taxes that way, you're taking into account the seller's exemptions. So somebody could be over 65 and frozen for 15 years, paying very little in taxes, and then you buy it, and the prorate from last year is going to be a tiny amount of money. To correctly plan for property taxes, you should plan on paying exactly what you paid. Because if it's more than that, then you can just say, look, I paid less than this. It's obviously less. And if it's less than what you paid, then you're prepared for it. It's not a good idea to go off last year's bill. We wouldn't recommend that to anybody.
Well, what would you recommend?
Plan off of what you paid.
Is that common Stewart Title to do that?
It is pretty common, yes. It's unfortunate that it's common, but it is common. You should just plan on whatever the sale price is. That's the best thing to do. So if you pay $130,000 for a house, you should plan on paying property taxes on $130,000. And if it's less than that, great. And if it's more than that, you have the best argument in the world. You say, look, I paid less than that. So
that's understandable. We get into the sales ratios. Is it all right if I speak about those again?
Yeah, you can have 2 more minutes because we've kind of gone out of whack a little bit here, but go ahead.
Okay, thank you. We're good at getting out of whack. On these sales ratios, the ones that were sent to us, were those sent as evidence of as what, from what I understand, that you're being fair with everyone, that the sales ratios are proof that your taxation is pretty well the same across the board for everyone? And is that the evidence? When I got the packet and opened it up, it's very overwhelming. And
Yeah.
so that's what I want to know is that what the sales ratio evidence is supposed to show, is fairness and that everything is pretty well across the board the same?
No, the sales ratio
Okay.
report is intended to be a way of measuring if we know what we're doing, if we're any good at our job at all. If our values are higher than what things are really worth, sales ratio report will be over 1. If our values are under what things are really worth, it will be less than 1. So if this sales ratio report for Lamar said that the weighted and average mean at the end there was 1.5 times the sale prices, then that would mean that most of the time our number is 50% higher than what things are really worth. What this is actually telling you is that we're 3% low in Lamar, that we err kind of conservative on our neighborhoods. And part of that has to do with when there's limited data, we don't want to overreach on just a few sales, So we try to move it as cautiously and conservatively as we can in this area. But when you have areas like Lamar that don't transact a lot, they just sit there, land is always going up in value, and if years and years and years go by, $60,000 just doesn't buy you what it used to,
Kathy, are we on time?
Very true. Very true.
Okay.
So just- Oh,
did
go
you have
ahead.
one more-
Sorry.
Did you have another question?
Well, it's not really a question. It was just the point that our sales ratio was so much higher than all of the other sales ratios that were given to us as evidence, that ours was just out of the park more. And so in doing all the work that we did in trying to look at everything fairly on our side, the sales ratio evidence has 85% of the properties that were submitted to us have a lower sales ratio than our property. That's a lot of properties, and some of them are over by the bay. I think it was a good representation of a lot of properties, but some of them are located in a heck of a lot nicer place than a dead-end basic street. I mean, not saying that we don't have a nice piece of property. I'm not going to say that at all. But I felt like the sales ratios told us a little bit more in as far as the fairness of our property being rated, because our sales ratio exceeds 61% of the other properties by 10%. And only 4 of those properties had a higher sales ratio than ours. And out of 26 properties, for only 4 of them to be higher, it just didn't seem like it washed.
Your time is up. District, you have, if you want to answer that question that you just had.
Yes. I think I just understood what you were asking. The sales ratio is
Okay.
not a change year over year. So if the sales ratio is 101% or 1.01, that doesn't mean that it's gone up 1% from last year. That's not what it's telling you. What it's telling you is if it says 1.01, that means that our appraisal was 1% higher than what a thing really sold for. So,
Yeah, well, I understand.
so your sales ratio is actually less than 1, because unless you pay less than $63,110, it can't be more than 1. So, judging by using this 63,110, right, divided by 97 times 100. So if you paid $65,000 for this land, that's what the sales ratio report is telling us, is that our numbers tend to be 97% of actual closing prices. So if you paid 65 for this land, there you go. Your sales ratio is 97%. Everything is adding up. So
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
if that number sounds familiar, if that's what y'all actually paid, This is just proving that out. That's not surprising. Your sales ratio is, if that's what you paid, it would be 97% like everyone else. If you paid 63,110, your sales ratio would be 1. So yours isn't higher than anyone else's.
Okay, each of you have 1 minute for closing. Protester, you can go first.
Okay, thank you. Okay, on the sales ratio again, I don't like beating a dead horse. Well, I'm just rather confused on some of this, but anything that's over 1 on the sales ratio is an appraisal that's more, from what I understand of what you said, than what we paid. Right. So ours is over 1%. So that is over what we paid. Basically we're just asking for fairness in this. Our taxes have been raised over 200%. In comparison, if you guys will look at the comparisons and see what we've compared on all these properties of what we'd be paying if we paid their taxes and what they'd be paying if we paid ours.
Exhibit 11.
It's Exhibit 11. It's a huge amount more for us than it is for all of these people. We're not asking for miracles. We're just asking for fairness, and that's just really all we expect out of it. We don't feel like it is right to change and not follow what the law says. And as far as the January 1st deadline, I understand what you said and how you explained it, but I still stand on that we should follow what the comptroller says we're supposed to do on these, so that people will know what they're supposed to be paying the next year. It's very shocking to have your taxes raised over 200%. So thank you for listening.
Yep, thank you all. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Eamon, you have 1 minute for closing if you have one.
No, I don't have any closing. Thanks.
Okay, then it's the ARB, Appraisal Review Board, now has 5 minutes to deliberate.
Well, since it's equity that's at stake here, I would like to look at the property next door. They stated that it was assessed at a different value than $849 a square foot. I'd like to look at that if we could,
Yeah.
Eamon.
I was going to ask the same question.
Sure. Let's go ahead. Let's get a property ID number.
They're both properties are baked to the same pond. Both of them are 2 lots each.
Let's look at
Jennifer, they have to go out.
let's look at 62921. Okay, $8.50 a square foot.
Look at the one next to it. 20209. Eight and a half.
Okay,
All the same.
yeah.
62921 is 467 a square foot, unless I've burned my calculator up.
Yeah, you're not. That's a different number than we're seeing in the database here. How are you getting that number?
Just going on you guys' database and going to land and dividing the value of the land by the square footage.
Go to the one next to it with more water on it. Let's see what you know what I mean? More to the left. That 60419. That one's got a bunch of water on it.
Are we on, how are we doing on time and our
We-
5
we have a-
minutes?
We have a couple of minutes,
All right.
not much.
We based our on the square footage of the land and the land value?
Okay, so they're at 850 and they were given a 40% because 40% of their lot is underwater. They own a bunch of land that's lake.
Oh, you're talking on, which one do you look at? What number?
60419. That seems generous, but
Right there. Right
I
there.
don't even see.
It would be
It's
two
so
doors
cool.
down from you.
Yeah.
go ahead and just show the block on the picto. Oh, hang on. I think the computer's having a little bit of memory issues.
There's a 20168. It's got a little bit of water. 20169. It's got a little bit of water.
Yeah.
There.
Everything you're seeing
And
in this picture is at 850 a foot. Some of them have exemptions. Some of them have adjustments for water, and which really that adjustment for water just means they have less land.
yeah.
But everybody's at 850 a foot.
Okay,
Hmm.
I think our time is almost up, so we need to make a decision here. Robert, what do you want to do?
I think it needs to stay where it is.
I agree.
Charlie? Okay, I agree. Okay, I'll make a motion on account 59336. Based on what we've heard from the district and the protester, and in addressing only the appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal. We all feel that the property was properly noted at 63,100.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hearing is closed.
Okay. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Any indication of our,
Okay,
Okay.
we
Yes.
just didn't want to start talking about the next one.
Yes, thanks, sorry.
So the next, all the rest of the cases will be with the same property owners.
Oh, is he here in person?
Yes, it's in person. We'll start with case number 543. It's two people, Mr. Patel, and then I can't remember the other young man's name right now, but I will go get them brought in and be here in just a few minutes.
okay,
So we should save a little bit of time on the introduction part because we have several
Right.
cases.
We'll still do each individual affidavit, but yeah, the intro part.
Hey, Reggie, did you get the second copy? That's the strangest thing. I don't know if there's something wrong with your email, but I've sent it twice to the same email. Spell it again, RAGGYLOY@sbcglobal.net.
The account number is 24157.
Doesn't make any difference. They're just case sensitive. Yeah, I did it that way anyway. I'll try it again, but it's the weirdest thing. What's that? She's got, yeah, and you know what? It's really straightforward. It's pretty. It's right. So as long as I got those big numbers off of there, we're fine. I've gone over it. You may be able. Are you taking her? Oh, she's going by herself. Oh, okay. She'll have her driver's license, so that's what she'll have to. So I forgot to remind her that for the driver's license, but she's driving and she'll have it. So okay. Well, it's correct. They'll go over it whether it's really simple. The sellers have a much more complicated side. I don't know when the sellers are closing. I have no idea. That's their problem. Wendell doesn't know that anymore. Yeah, well, there's no hurricanes in the Gulf and the water, so. Yeah, well, that'll be no problem, but, and I told her that I have a check for her for $100, which is the option fee. So I've been meaning whenever I take something over, you to drop it off, and I just keep forgetting, so she knows about it, and, I'll get it over to you. Okay? Okay, well, I told her to call me when she got home, and make sure everything went okay. Okay, all right, thank you, bye.
Coleman's in there.
2-1.
Man, he should have scored that.
Was it Blake?
No,
Hopefully, zooming in. The appraisal district representative is. Come on in, and the table is right behind here. I have Mr. Patel and Mr. Panchal here.
Okay,
How are you?
The affidavit that you sign, and then when it's time, Mr. Powers will let you know and just say your name and then read that statement. Okay.
okay. We have some administrivia to go through before we get down to the heart of the matter, gentlemen. Just follow along. I have some questions along the way, okay? You have to speak up a little bit. The microphone doesn't pick up that well. We're opening a hearing on case ID 2020-543, account 24157. This hearing is being recorded. We are the Appraisal Review Board that will be hearing your protest today. On the panel are myself, Charles Powers, Robert Dayton, and Kathy Hoffman. I think you can see our pictures up on the top of your screen. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed it to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/survey-ARB. Survey is voluntary. We do appreciate if you take it. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all of your evidence?
yes,
And does that answer cover all 5 cases?
yes.
Very good, thank you. We won't have to ask that again. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F, and I'm currently located in Texas.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66, and I am physically located in Texas.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code 41.66. I'm physically located in Texas.
My name is Val Smith. I'm a notary public. I am witnessing Mr. Powers, Mr. Dayton, and Ms. Hoffman's signatures via Zoom, and I'm just located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I do solemnly swear or affirm it that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
And if you'll say your name.
My name is Kamlesh Patel.
And then Mr. Pinto.
I, Prem Panchal, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal is true and correct.
Okay. Do either of you have an appraiser's license?
No, we don't. No.
Okay. On the table in front of you, you should see hearing procedure times chart.
Yes.
You see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to follow that procedure throughout the hearing. And you can see there's two major columns. You get to choose whether the district goes first or you go first.
Well, I like to district go first. Let me see what they're asking, so we go from there.
Okay?
Okay, Eamon, you have 5 minutes.
All right, this is account 24157. It's a commercial land property for all intents and purposes. There is a building on it, but it's not 100% complete. This used to be a motel, but it no longer is. It's just it's where a motel used to be on Broadway, outside of Little Bay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The notice value last year, or the certified value last year, was $608,840. The notice value for this year is $608,840. The comps that we used were just land sales nearby in this kind of general area. There's not a whole lot of land changing hands right on this little strip because it's occupied. Because nothing's happening. The indicated market value is $667,993. And I will point out that does say that we're a little low, but it really doesn't necessarily mean that. It's because these sales were smaller pieces of land. So it'll look like that, but this isn't telling us that we should do anything. The equity grid is showing other properties next to 1805 Broadway. We've got 1807, 1809, and 1815, and they're all just on a land table. This one's a little bit more land than some of the thinner lots next to it. But the indicated median equity value is $666,023. Again, there's nothing. It does seem like there's an adjustment that we're low, but given that it has a damaged building on it, this is what you would expect to see. Basically, it's 75% complete for this building that I think used to be the office, and nothing has changed, so nothing has changed. And that concludes our evidence. That's everything.
Okay, Mr. Patel, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine and 5 minutes for presentation.
Okay, the price is beginning value, German says $608,000 some dollars. So that point, he's right there. But this price was after the hurricane, because we didn't assess the value, how much is going to be. So I accept the value because I have a substantially lot of property in this town. Probably I have a 30 to 40 properties, and the workforce, my workforce means I was working 7 days a week, and I cannot justify that this property is right there. And in regard to that, I said, okay, that's fine, because I didn't have a time. But now I calculate myself. There's so many properties surrounding over there. Is not also the price, whatever it is. There's a lot of concrete blocks over there. There's so many things we got to do. And again, if you remove that stuff, it is basically $150,000 to $200,000 to haul it, clean it. The land right next to that, he's trying to show us the paper, on the paper 686. Yes, maybe he's right. But again, that property, there's the concrete is all over. And it is the evidence over there, because if you remove this one, it's going to be cost of money. And the value was, before the hurricane, was $608,840. After the hurricane was the same thing, $608,840. What I'm asking all the review board is, it got to be $300,000, because that substantially I got to remove those materials if I want to do something. So it is a lot of big debris over there. It still existed. So my recommendation is a 300,000, not a 608,840. The value goes over there. That was a motel. The motel was all the rooms are gone. 23 rooms with the laundry rooms. I lost everything. So what is basic left is the debris. Only one house left right there, and the pool is over there. But sooner or later, I got to be cover up that one. So you don't look the real value because nobody going to buy. The first thing they're going to buy, they're going to ask you, are you going to clear that concrete or not? So the property value, my opinion, is a $300,000. If the city want to buy it for 608,040, I'm more happy to give it to them. If they're thinking this price is a 608,840, I don't think so. And this is my real opinion. I got about 40 properties, 30 to 40 properties in this town. I came in 2002. I bring so many people in town. If these guys, if the city goes like this way, we got to do the better advertise for the city, because they're increasing the price every single value over all the properties. I don't know what the number comes in. So my opinion is the price is a 300,000, not a 608,840. And I got a property bought it in 2018. I submit you to the documents, which is a 1 acre land. 1 acre land for $60,000, $59,000. Mr. Panchal also is my nephew. He bought the 2 lots, which is about 35 feet wide by 115 deep. 2 lots for $5,610. So, honestly speaking, if the other side pick up the numbers they like to, I want to pick up this number. So you can compare with that. Is a 1 acre land. It is less than $60,000. So I don't know how they come up with that value. And I'm going to be fight with that all documents, reference to this all the papers I submitted to you. This is another document I'm showing you, Hill Country Realty. I called this morning. They want to sell the property for $110,000. I want to show you the transparency, because he probably going to be argue with me is $110,000. But again, let's see if I'm wanted to buy this property and look in the picture, the Hunts Castle right behind it, then I'm a businessman. I probably go for it. The price the guy Chris Pipe's asking for it. But there's another evidence. There's a different angles. I took the pictures of that same sign. If you can put that and showing other side, it is a residence. If I'm a resident guy, then I will look at the property. Oh, this is a residence. So I'm probably paying the money according to that. But the resident guy is not going to buy the property close to the commercial property, because it's a noise. It is like
it's intermission. They're in the locker room.
So who want to buy the property? That's what they're going for. And we put the property for sale. Let's say 301 Broadway. The guy comes with a $75,000 offer. $75,000 offer. I know, because we put in the market value for, whatever they're asking, right? Here's the number is on the 301 Broadway is $296. This guy is coming over there from the San Antonio and insult me for $70,000 for the land is cost more than $70,000. So I don't know, because I want to sell the property. Believe me, I want to sell the property. My sign is all over. Because if this guy is going like this way, then believe me, I do not want to stay here. I want to sell it. And $608,000, if the city want to buy, more happy to I give it to them. Because you guys looking for the waterfront property anyway. That's what this is my argument is.
Okay, Mr. Patel, are you through? You have 41 seconds.
Yes, I'm through. Thank you, sir.
Okay, the district has 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal, so 4 minutes.
I don't really have anything to cross-examine. Like I said, nothing changed with this account this year. There's no the land value isn't dropping year over year, is, 300 is way too low. There's no chance you're going to sell this to somebody for 300. And I guess the concrete could be seen as like an impediment to it, but we would have to be shown that you can't use the concrete. Presumably the concrete's going to be used to rebuild a motel on this property. If you can't, then that would be something we'd want to see, that it's like condemned or something. It has to be torn away, which is very expensive. But the fact is, when it gets sold, it would be sold, hey, look, it's already paved. It's already got foundations built on it. Use it at its highest and best use as a motel, which is what has been shown to be effective. But that being said, we're not adding value for the concrete, so there's nothing to take away, and it's not causing any kind of impairment to the value unless you have to remove it. Like if we had something saying that you were told by some engineer that it was like unusable, and that when you sell it, you have to tell people, warning, you can't use this, you have to tear it out. It's a seller concession kind of thing. But I'll tell you, this land on Little Bay, everything that's going up for sale over there is over $1 million.
Well, you sell the million, I give you 300,000. If you want to sell the $1 million, I give you 300,000. Or it's on the record.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think that it would.
Well, sir, what I'm saying is saying and selling, and they're also different things. Because what you're trying to say is, I'm trying to send you these pictures right here. Okay, there's two ways people can review that. The commercial property, if the businessman comes like me, and if you want to build the motels, he will pay.
Is this Mr. Patel's time or is this the district's time?
Mr. Patel, I'm sorry. This is the district's time. If you'll have 2 more minutes.
I'm just saying that in principle, 300,000 is not enough. It's not enough, and I think you know that. I think you know that you shouldn't sell this for $300,000. I'm not saying that 608 is exactly right, but I mean, I'm willing to listen to you, but not at half. That I think we both know that's worth more than that. I didn't reassess this year, so I don't work off of nothing. That's all.
Are you through, Emin?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have.
Okay, Mr. Patel, you have 2 minutes.
Ma'am, what I'm saying is a 608,840. Honestly, generosity, I just go ahead and say yes. But again, if this guy comes behind it again every 2 years and try to get the 100% profit, that's a ridiculous. This is, believe me, it is a ridiculous. No business will survive. I don't want to tell the name of the motel over here, but he give the keys to the bank. The big, I'm not going to bring the name because it's not right, but he give it to the key to the bank and say, okay, you run it. The problem, you got to understand the timing. The timing is the most important in the life. If you have millions of dollars, then you spend $1 million, fine. But if you don't have a dime, and if you're asking me $600,000, that's a problem there. The COVID-19, you got to consider. There's a lot of people's. The beach is closed. The income is low. We got to piling the bills. Is a 1 month. Let's say example, in a March, there's a spring break. They shut it down. We lost mostly motels lost. Believe me, half of that. And same thing in summer. When you shut it down, and his impact is right away, the cancellation. Once the water closed, the beach closed, it is a cancellation. Within 24 hours, there's a cancellation of 50%. This is a fear that the hotels owners or the property owners, yes. And there's a rising on the people's houses. They're renting it. 10 people, 15 people in the go rooms, and they're selling for $150 a room. Fine, people are enjoying it. But they are not paying the taxes. Who's paying the taxes? Us. They are not paying any extra additional charges. And this is considered because it's a backfire right now for the last 3 years. I'm the first one, ma'am, opened that FEMA houses over there in Rahi Cottage, very first one. And that time, the price was 69. I dropped it to 55.
Mr. Patel, I'm sorry, your time is up. The district has 1 minute for closing, and then you'll have 1 minute for closing.
In closing, I'll just point out, this is not a motel, it's just land. Nothing happened, it's just land. Nobody raised this year. It's just a piece of land. This has nothing to do with the motels. Nothing happened to this account this year. That's all.
All right, Mr. Patel, you have 1 minute.
Okay, if he's considered as a motel, the price was a 608,840 when it's a motel. I'm thinking this is only house. There's only one building the house. I appreciate that you go according to that income is. So my opinion is 608,000 is very high. So you got to come up with between 300,000 to 450,000 between right there. That's a fair amount.
All right,
Miss-
appraisal review board now has 5 minutes to deliberate.
Mr. Patel,
Yes, sir.
during your presentation, you said that you had it on the market for how much?
This property, sir, I put in the market off and on because I fix it. This is a 608,840. There was a before the hurricane, sir. And after hurricane, only my one building survived, sir. Only one building out of 10 buildings. And they're still asking $608,000, sir.
No, that's not my question. You said you had it on the market, did you not?
No, I didn't put that property in the market. No, sir. I put the property in the market, which is a Highway 35, sir.
Okay, all right. Now, Eamon.
Yeah.
Can you, the contention is that this 608,840 was on it before the hurricane and after the hurricane.
Okay,
Is that the case?
let me check.
Please.
Check 2617 number. Just go to second. 18, 19. Yeah, so the land value is 558,150, and go back, let's see how long that goes back.
What year was that?
I'm still going, since, let's keep going. Since as far back as our stuff is showing, 2007, it changed, oh, okay, it changed, the land value changed in 08 to what it is today. So the land value hasn't moved in all of those years. Let's see. That being said, go to the seven. Put the improvements value at 17.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
All right, Barbara.
That's the problem.
She's
You know-
still on Zoom.
Yeah, I will say that in 2017, the value for the whole property was.
Yeah.
No,
She's been pretty busy.
I want the market value of the whole property.
I'll tell you called.
Was 761,000. And it was a working motel. So a lot of what drives that value is the rooms you could rent. Unfortunately, we only had 200,000 on the improvements. So while that number may not have been inaccurate, how it was apportioned probably was. Like I said, I'm not sure that 608,000 is right for this land. I think 300 is too low.
Yeah, but you had said 700 and something thousand with 200,000 on the improvements, right?
Yes, and I think that the improvements were undervalued. That the land value is probably less than 608 is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, then what do you think it is?
I don't know. I really don't know. I would have to look into it.
It's not 300,000, and we can't, you know.
And
I
you
don't know
said
where
that
to go.
you said the land value has not changed since 2008?
Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
If anything, it would have gotten more expensive.
Yes.
So the fact that it stayed the same, it was not protested last year.
I think the 608,840 is I'll say a reasonable price. I mean, the property owner bringing up COVID, that doesn't have anything to do with the value on January 1. This property is not on an income valuation. It's cost and land.
Land, it's just dirt.
Yeah, the improvements on it are minimal, 50,000 for the one building that's left, and that seems in line. And to compare this piece of property to residential property down the road is just wrong. I mean, it's commercial property is just different than residential property.
Yeah, I agree, and like I said, I think that having it at 608,000 for all these years, and it hasn't been contested at all that we were aware of, I would think it would be worth more.
Well, I just want to point out, it hasn't been contested all these years because the number overall is like an agreeable number. Even though the property owners, they're thinking, okay, I know how much of a hotel, my hotel's worth. If the overall number is remotely agreeable, they don't care how it breaks out. They don't care if we put all the money in the parking lot or all the money in the land or all the money in the storage shed. They're just looking at the value, right? And so part of the reason we want to put hotels and motels on income value is because then we're valuing them the same way the property owner is. This hasn't been protested because the land value and the improvements together made that 750 or whatever, and that was okay. But what I'm telling you is that we probably got there through a bizarre way. I really don't think this is 600,000 in land. It could be, it's possible, but judging by what we're looking at, it's probably something less than that.
Would it be rational to take the 200,000 improvements off of the 608 and say it's worth 400?
Where's the 200,000 improvements?
That's what Eamon said. There were 200 and some change, and I didn't get the change.
No, the improvements are only valued at 50,000.
No. The ones that were blown away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. So that would account for 150 of it. But yeah.
150 of it.
Yeah.
So that would lower it to 450?
Yeah. I mean, that's something.
Okay.
Well, that's okay with me if we want to, since
In that
nobody
case-
seems to be exactly certain what it's worth, that seems to be a reasonable solution.
That's what I would put forth.
Okay, I could go. Yeah, I
Robert?
could go for that.
Okay?
All right, on account 24157, based on what we've heard from the district and the protester and addressing incorrect appraised market value and appraisal ratio exceeding median level of appraisal, it would be our decision to reduce the value to 450,000.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That hearing is closed.
Case number 711 be the next case.
711. Got it. Okay, opening a hearing on case ID 2020-711. Account 17923. We'll skip down to all testimony from the ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone. And we're signing the affidavits to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Texas Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F, and I'm located in Texas.
Valerie Smith, I'm notary public, and I am witnessing the signatures of Mr. Powers, Mr. Dayton, and Ms. Hoffman, and I am located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I, Frank Panchal, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I, Kamlesh Patel, I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Same procedure. Who goes first?
Let the gentleman go first.
Damon?
This is account number 17923. The account number is 17923. It is a commercial property. It's a small pair of motel buildings. I think it's part of a motel operation that comprises 2 parcels in our system. The value last year, certified value, was basically 120,000. This is on Hackberry and Live Oak, so it's in South Rockport, just off of Church Street. The value this year was noticed at 208,000. This property was not moved to an income value because the assumption was that this is used as either like long-term rentals or that it was in the middle of some sort of state of construction. The field appraiser did note that the motel has signs that say for rent on it, and that it warranted an effective age increase as a result of rebuilding. But the evidence was prepared on a depreciated cost basis for these buildings as residences, because again, we're assuming that these are not hotel motels. It's being used for some kind of long-term rental tenant, which is more like a normal house. And the sales of these smaller 3-class properties, just slightly 1 class below average in South Rockport, show a median indicated value for the subject at $208,859, and pretty reasonable range as well. The equity value is just showing other properties that are valued in a similar way. These kind of buildings of questionable use. We don't know if they're like functioning or not functioning. What can you use them for? Or damaged motels, that kind of thing. And it shows the notice value of 208. We're not treating this any different than we would treat any other motel. The sales ratio report is for South Rockport. We are at 97% in South Rockport because it is growing. It's just a rapidly growing market down there. But as far as I know, this is not in the short-term rental. It's not an operation for short-term rental. I might be wrong about that. But that is our evidence.
Okay, Mr. Patel, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine and 5 minutes for your presentation.
Okay. Well, if anybody give you a price, they should know that the lock is the hotel locks. We have a key locks. It is run from Shivam Reef Motel before the hurricane and even after the hurricane. The locks are when you go in a hotel like a Hampton Holiday Inn, that kind of a locks are there on the front. So if prosecutor want to go check the camera and just take a pictures, but those are under treating as a motel. So right now we don't have a revenue over there. We put it because I was talking to Diana at the Children Coalition Center. They told me that, can Mr. Patel help me out? Help me out means, they have a lot of people looking for the motels, apartments, because they don't have that right now. So I'm helping them right now. But that was originally from the hurricane, and after that, the locks, you can see it. This is under motel. So the sign was over there, yes. Somebody put the sign over there, my workers, for the rent. So if somebody come in, we can fix that one. Because it's so much substantial damage, madam. And, but again, I'm not trying to alter anything, but that's not an apartment, this is a motel. So, and just treat me like that's a motel. So because they can see that evidence with the locks.
Well, I'll point out that if this was valued like a functioning motel, its value would be higher.
The functioning motel, like a value, how can you tell me, sir? There's no income there.
Well, because it's not a functioning motel. That's why there's no income. It's not operating. You can't say it's an operating motel and it's operating negative, therefore it's not operating. Like, it's not, we're saying the same thing. No renters and zero revenues. It's
That was
not
the last year, yes.
right. So I should not value it as an operational business. It's not an operation. It's not running. It's not a motel.
It is a motel, sir.
It's a motel building, but it's not.
No, sir, it is a motel building. Now if he goes over there, there is a cars over there. Yes, sir.
But if you were to value it on motel revenue, it would be worth more than 208,000 because it'd be generating income. The reason we didn't do that is because we assumed it isn't generating income. So it's just, all we're saying is, how much is the land worth? How much does it cost to get these buildings on there? That's it. Land plus buildings. That's it. So we've got you on South Rockport land table. It's $100,000 worth of land and $108,000 worth of improvements.
Okay, if you're looking at it, sir, if you're looking in the county, this is there was a listed the Sunset Suite.
Yeah.
That was under Sunset Suite. What is the suite means? Is it apartment, sir?
Okay, I mean, here, let me tell you what you would have been noticed at. You would have been noticed at 250, 242, if we did this like a motel. So are you saying that you want this to be made 242 instead of 208?
Well, like I said, there's no income over there, and the land value, I'm just showing you in the same street. 1923 South Paul Street is less than a mile. This is the purchase was 2 years ago. And this one was a 1 acre land, there was a $70,000. So if you told me that the revenue, if you're going to get the land price is lower than that. I bought on Austin Street, the $52,000 after the hurricane. I bought the land 50 by 100. People bought, this is the answer, who's buying it. I'm telling you, $50,000 I bought it right behind the Hunts Castle. I built a house over there. So if you consider the $70,000, I don't think so. If you're 70,000 over there and 70,000 right behind the 1 street behind the Water Street, that's the same price, sir. This is the 4th street behind it. It should be the price is a little bit different, sir. I show you the evidence again right there, sir.
I don't understand why you're not getting what I'm telling you. We're saying the same thing.
Just, sir, I'm not trying to say you talking to me is about the building. Forget the building. Go on the land values. You should be dropping down at least $30,000 right there.
No, your land is not depreciating. Your land is increased in value every year since the hurricane. That neighborhood is worth more all the time.
Sir, neighborhood, I'm showing you the evidence. I did not buy from my family, sir. This is the buy from the third party. This one was a sign was a long time ago.
You're not going to convince me that the value of land in South Rockport is going down. This is my job. It isn't.
This is your job, sir. I understand that. But again, the thing is, this is your job. It's a 1% job. Again, there's so many people buying the land.
Nope. This value, land value is going up here, man. Your land value is going up.
If you're sticking with that one, sir, then I don't think we will go with anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sticking on that. I wish land value was going down in South Rockport. I would love that, but that's not happening.
But I show you the evidence. Look at the
It
719.
isn't happening. You know it's not happening. I know it's not happening. That land value is going up. Everybody knows that. But that's not what we're talking about. What I'm telling you is this is not valued on income. This was just put on depreciated costs because it's a non-operational motel building. And you're trying to tell me that land in South Rockport is depreciating. It's absolutely not true. It's not happening. We both know that.
So do you think this I bought under the tables or something? That's what you tried to tell me?
I think you underpaid. Yeah. I think you underpaid. You paid less than it's worth. You could make money. You do make money. This is why you do.
Well,
this.
you're buying it then. I give it to you, sir. I'm telling you, I'm open. I'm very open with you. You buy it. Then go ahead. I got an acre land. I will give it to you. I sign it right now. Pay me accordingly then I will sign on to you, sir.
Okay, where are we on the time here? Because Mr. Patel's just going on. Whose time is it here?
He has 34 more seconds.
Okay.
Mr. Patel, you have 28 seconds now.
Ma'am, I already give my presentation, ma'am. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You listen to me. But I show you that.
Right. Okay, the district, you're through, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, the district has 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal.
No, I don't have anything. This is going nowhere.
Okay, Mr. Patel, you have 1 minute for closing. I'm sorry, yeah, 1 minute for closing.
Well, I just stick with mine and let's see how we go from further, what I have to do. But 208,000 is too much.
All right, then, district, you have 1 minute?
I don't have any closing.
Okay, the ARB has 5 minutes to discuss.
I think the district has justified its number.
I agree.
I think so too, yeah.
All right, on account 17923, based on what we heard from the district and from the protester and addressing incorrect appraised market value and appraisal ratio exceeding median level of appraisal, it is the opinion of the ARB that we should leave the value of the property at 208,000.
I'll second that.
In favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Hearing is closed.
Well, in this point,
Here's our girl.
Can I say something, sir?
Not if it's related to the hearing. Not till I open the next one.
If it's specific to the property. If it's about the hearings, like the meeting, you can, but if it's
Well,
about the
this is
property.
inconsistent. That's what I'm trying to say. Right next to the building is right there.
Oh,
Is a 183,000.
oh,
Right next to that building.
No, that hearing's closed.
That hearing's closed.
There's just a, it has to close the hearing and open the next one. You'll have time in this one though.
Okay, so are we ready for 712,
Yes.
712?
712.
We're ready.
Okay.
Opening a hearing on case ID 2020-712, account 17927. Our members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 41.66F, and I'm located in Texas.
James Valerie Smith, I'm a notary public. I'm witnessing Mr. Dayton, Mr. Powers, and Ms. Hoffman's signatures via Zoom, and I'm physically located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, Aaron Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay,
And
gentlemen.
so Mr. Pranchal's gonna say his.
So I, Prem Panchal, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I, Kamlesh Patel, I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Thank you. Same procedure. Who goes first?
Hang on, he's signing right now.
One 17927.
The inconsistent on this one is, I will go first.
Okay.
Mr. Patel is going first, is that correct?
Yes.
All righty, it's 5 minutes.
Okay, look at the inconsistent 904 Church Street, right next to that, 10 feet apart. The property value, old property value is 71,910. Same square foot, same everything. 901 South Live Oak, 119,000, old value 410. I don't think it's a justified. So I'm going to show you that these things, and I have nothing to say. Whatever you folks decide, I got to do it. But there's an inconsistent with the building right next to each other. Live Oak and the Church Street is right next to each other. The buildings are 10 feet apart. And the one building, we just passed that one, was 119,000. Another building is 71,000. Same thing, same color, same door, same square foot, same thing. I don't understand, very inconsistent. That's what I was trying to tell you. So I'm finished. I'm finished. You can go now.
All right, District, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine and then 5 minutes for your presentation.
Okay, I'm switching back and forth between these two properties, and my tablet's tricking me. So I'm trying to figure out what the difference is.
The improvements seem to be the same. The difference is in the land value.
Difference is in the land value. Is it on a different land table?
Probably one by a church.
Let's see. Okay, well, I gotta enter in our evidence anyway, so I'll just start with, make sure I'm on the right one. Am I on 17927, right? Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, my tablet's doing that thing where it's showing me the case from earlier. Well, 17927 is a commercial property on corner of Church Street and Hackberry. Got two motel type buildings on it that, as far as we know, are not being used for short-term renting, like hotel motel use. It was noticed at $183,000. It was a field appraiser noted that it had a for rent sign in the window, and years were added for rebuild efforts, increase in the effective age. The sales grid shows sales of other properties in this area that would be used for either a residence or long-term rental, because we're assuming that this is what this is being used for. And the indicated or median sales value is $183,859. Keeping a pretty close eye on South Rockport down there. The equity grid just shows other commercial properties of various use. And it does look like the only difference between these two is the land. And it appears that comp number 3, which is the case that we just heard, has a different price per square foot. Yeah. Huh. Can we pull up Picto real quick and just look at the it does seem odd to me that the stuff that's on Church Street would be less per foot than the stuff on Live Oak, especially for F1 property. The frontage would be more valuable than the stuff that's not commercial frontage. You know, for residential stuff, it's about distance to the water, and commercial frontage might not even, it's probably not even great for a house, but for a business, it's good. It's actually better. So, yeah, that's a weird situation. So can we look at 17925 and see if it's on that 750 a foot table? You don't have to, you can just tell me. I don't really care if you don't have to do it up there where it's hard to see. Yeah. That's 10 a foot. And then the 17931.
Church Street, it's 875.
Okay, so yeah, that's
Smaller lot.
right. So that is what's going on with that one. I agree with you. I mean, I wish you'd said that in the last hearing. That is a good point, because it's not that this one's too low, too high. It's that the other one's, or too low. The other one's too high. It should just be the same across the whole property. It's one use. But
That's what I'm trying to say, sir.
I know, but you didn't say that during the first
Well,
one. We have a problem with jurisdiction as far as like when the case gets closed, there's nothing that, like, they literally are not, it's illegal for them to change it. They can't change this property to make up for a discrepancy on the other property.
Well, sir, the discrepancy on your side, not my side, sir.
I'm saying this wasn't pointed out. I'm in agreement with you, but I can't change it on this one. Like, just.
We are fighting 5 cases at the same time, sir.
I know. There's nothing I can do about that.
It's not fair. You should stick with the
No,
71.
it's fair. It's fair in the sense that
It
these
should
are
be
the rules for
183 on the
everybody.
both sides, sir. It is a 10 feet apart. It should be 183 the both of them.
I
Mr.
agree.
I agree on it. That's fine, no problem.
I agree with you.
Mr. Patel,
Mr. Patel, this is the district's time.
the problem is we cannot go back and do it. You didn't bring this up effectively in the last hearing, and we cannot change it now.
This wasn't brought up at all in the last hearing.
All right, which hearing are we on? Are we staying on 712?
Yep, I think we have to.
Okay, where are we at with that? The district still has 1 minute and 40 seconds.
No, I don't have anything else to present. I guess I could tell you I'll put a note in there for 17923, but it's not going to change anything for 2019. But
That's what I'm gonna write.
yeah, we'll put a note in there for 2020. That it will just be consistent across the whole thing. That's something that is it's not abnormal for people to argue down the value of land on commercial thoroughfares because we do so much residential stuff. But if you're running a commercial enterprise, it's good to be on Church Street. It's not worse. It's not bad that it's high traffic. It's better that it's high traffic. So anyways, but I'll put a note in there that should change.
Okay, are you through, Eamon?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Patel, you have 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Well, this property is a 183. You know, I mean, I don't know which way calculation is. I would appreciate that, you know, he's asking 183. I'm probably asking 160. You know, he got to make a balance out with the 901. So now if he can make a 160, I appreciate it.
All right, anything else?
That'd be all.
Okay, Eamon, you have 1 minute for closing.
I don't have any closing.
Mr. Patel, you have 1 minute for closing.
Well, that's, I don't have the 160.
Okay. All right, then the appraisal review board has 5 minutes.
Stays the way it is.
I think it has to. It's unfortunate that we didn't know this in the last hearing because we can't balance them out or average them. So
No.
I think the 183 is correct. I wish we'd have known that in the last case, but I think we have to stick with it this case.
Just have to take it up next year.
Yeah.
Charlie, are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
All right, then I'll make a motion on account 17927, based on what we've heard from both the protester and the district in addressing the incorrect appraised market value and the appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal. That is our determination to leave the property as noted at 183,000.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Hearing is closed.
The next case number is 713.
Opening case ID 2020-713, account number 19101. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 4166F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with a person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F. Am I located in Texas?
Name's Valerie Smith. I am witnessing Mr. Powers, Mr. Dayton, and Ms. Hoffman's signatures via Zoom, and I am physically located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I, Trent Penchal, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I, Ms. Patel, I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay. Who goes first, Mr. Patel?
Well, let me sign on it, so just give me a few seconds.
You're going first, Mr. Patel?
He's still signing. He's asked for just a
Oh,
second.
he's still signing, I'm sorry.
That's fine. We're here in person, so these are, they actually do their step.
Which property is this?
I know.
What is the address or what property?
Oh, okay. We're doing a property ID number 19101. That's 301 Broadway. 301 Broadway.
Correct.
So yeah, are you gonna go first or am I gonna go first? It's up to you.
Well, you can go first.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, who's going first?
So this is account 19101. This is a commercial property. It's little cottages type rentals. It's like a motel in Fulton, but it is not operational. It hasn't been since at least the storm. Last year it was noticed at 296,440. This year it was noticed at 308,630. And I'll explain why in just a minute. The sales comps are sales of other similar properties.
They will.
He had an assist. He had a 1-2-1.
Probably the best sale comp is going to be 302 Broadway. It's another similar use property. It sold for 460 this year. That being said, it sold operational, so it needs to be adjusted for the fact that the building's not in working shape. It indicates a value for the subject at 321, which is a little bit higher than what we have on it, but within a margin of error, definitely for a damaged building. Median indicated equity value or median indicated market value is 303, which is $5,000 less than the subject was noticed at, and that will become relevant in just a moment. The median indicated equity value is 375. It's much higher than it was noticed at, but that's because, again, this is not operational. So even after making the adjustments, it's still going to look like it could be higher because this thing needs to be kind of depressed from the amount of damage it has. The last point is last year this was noticed at 296,440, and year over year the land value hasn't changed. The improvements value changed, but only because this whole area got a neighborhood improvement adjustment as a result of, like, Fulton is a great place to live and even old homes are selling for more. It went from 115 to 125. That really doesn't have any bearing on commercial property. So this shouldn't have been, this normally wouldn't. Again, this is another good reason to move this stuff to income so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. The 10% change on the improvements was totally erroneous. Like it has nothing to do with this property. This property type wasn't included in the analysis for it. So basically last year's value, the 296,440, that's what it should be.
Is that what you're suggesting, that it should be at that value?
Yeah, I mean, in the very least, that's like that change doesn't need to be made for this year at all. It shouldn't have been caught in that little group, but it's because this is a motel, but it's not moved to income this year. It got picked up like it was a residential property because it's still on cost.
So are you suggesting that price?
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with 296.
Mr. Patel, are you okay with that price?
Man, honestly speaking, 296, 440, like that, you know, if it's there, I would suggest 30,000 more or less, because outside the damage and inside damage, at least 30 to $40,000, you got to be goes to the fix it. And I'm trying to be fix it this year. So basically, I even started already with the hardy outside and everything, and I spent already $20,000 right there already. I'm working on it, speaking to right now. My guys are working over there. So that property right now, it should be, honest, my opinion is 200 and 250, I think is a fair to numbers. But again,
What was the value of this property in 2017?
It was 303.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
250,000, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's pretty much on an equity basis. Yeah.
So you're fine with that? Mr. Patel, you're okay with that? Is that correct?
talking to, yes, yes. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay. Then it's ARB, Charlie and
Yeah,
Robert.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Regarding account number 19101, in addressing incorrect appraised market value and appraised ratio exceeding median level of appraisal, the district and the protester have agreed on a price of $250,000.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, hearing is closed.
Last case is 716.
Okay. Opening case ID, a hearing on case ID 2020-716, account 19605. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the property. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66, and I'm located in Texas.
My name is Valerie Smith. I am a notary public, and I'm witnessing Ms. Hoffman, Mr. Powers, and Mr. Davis' signatures via Zoom, and I'm physically located in Texas.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I, Prem Panchal, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I, Kamlesh Patel, I do solemnly swear, affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay, gentlemen, who goes first?
I go first. I'm asking 250,000. That's a fair amount. If you agree on it, so we can close that one.
Let me see. Let me see.
You check that one, and then everything is gone from there. So
Okay, is there any unique evidence for this? Is this the one that's called Rahi 2?
no, sir. That's called it used to be called Pelican 3.
Okay.
Pelican 3. We lost all the buildings and everything.
It's just land.
It's a land.
Okay. So it is still just land.
That's all land. Yes, sir.
All right, is that all you have to say, Mr. Patel?
The picto lines up on these things, I don't exactly know, like, does it include the building back there? And no, and it looks like no, it doesn't. So
No buildings, sir. There's no building.
that's
There's another street
separate-
on the back. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see here. What can I ask you? What does Rahi mean? Is that somebody's name or?
Rahi is my daughter's name.
Oh, nice. That's
Yes.
awesome. Okay. So this is account 19605. It's a vacant land parcel in Fulton on commercial frontage on 35. It was noticed at 286,830. Last year it was noticed at 286,830. The sale comps that we have are vacant land sales in this area, two of which were strictly commercial in nature. The best one is comp number 2. Comp number 1's really close. It was purchased and then had a building put on it. It was bought last year for $48,500, but it's smaller. And if the subject sold like that, it would have sold for $287,000. The comp number 2 is probably the best comp. It's a significant chunk of land, and it was turned into storage units, boat storages. and it was purchased for 300 in 2018. The median indicated value for the subject is 312.75. The equity grid is showing the neighboring properties are the same. They're just on the same land table. The ones behind it, they're all, this whole little area is just treated as one big unit. So it's 286,830 is the equity value. And then the sales ratio report is for all of Fulton. We're lagging in Fulton by about 5%. Wow, our average mean is actually really low. It's 92%. Didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, nothing has changed on here. I don't see any things telling me this land is worth less than it used to be. If anything, it's slowly worth more. It's just a piece of land. That's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Patel, you have 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal.
I'm not gonna cross-examine, I'm gonna ask him. I say, I think the fair value is at 250, and that's how I go from there, so we can finish very quickly. If he's agree on it, because there's nothing there, we lost everything over there, man. It's just a piece of land, so.
All right, is that all you want to contribute at the moment? Mr. Patel?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Eamon, you have 1 minute for closing.
I have no closing.
Mr. Patel, you have a minute for closing.
Well, I'm just gonna ask you, that's it. 250, and you decided, you folks decide, because I think it is a piece of land, and I lost the restaurant on the front, the motel 10 rooms on the side. So basically, this is a piece of land. You gotta clean up a lot of stuff still. There's a lot of trees, you gotta remove it. There's a lot of roots and everything. So I'm asking 250. So.
All right. Appraisal Review Board has 5 minutes for deliberation. Charlie and Roberts?
Seems like the district has made their point and substantiated their value.
Yeah, nothing has changed. There's no increase. So I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, go with it.
Charlie? Okay. Count number 19605. Based on what we heard from the protester and from the district in addressing incorrect appraised market value and appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal. The 286,830 is significantly below both the sales and the equity levels. And we recommend that it stay at its current noted price of 286,830.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing is closed. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I can see y'all out, and
Okay.
you'll notice on your tablet, there's a couple of letters to be read.
Okay, I got a question.
Quick question, it's for anyone. There is at the beginning, someone said something about appeal on the decision of this.
Yes. So
On 901, I mean, about the differences, how can that work?
okay, so the board is going to send you a determination letter for each of these cases. It's going to have a number on it,
Yeah.
and then there's going to be some other documents. And then including those is your further remedies. The next step at that point would just be an arbitration. And an arbitration is there's an individual person, and they usually spend much longer time sitting with the case. A lot of times ones that go to arbitration are extremely complicated. But I think that would be, and also the other one's lawsuit, but you can sue anyone, anytime for anything. So that's not new information. But the arbitration, I think, would end up being the next one to do for that one. The other thing is the board and the district, once the case is closed, they can't change last year's values unless it's like off by a certain amount. But the arbitration is still within 2020 or whatever value. So I think that will end up being that. So if you see something about arbitration, that's probably what it would be.
Okay,
Yeah, but it'll all be in there.
okay,
And you can call back and ask. We'll help you out.
okay. All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Have a good one. Do you have more? I remember you had some before. Do you have more later? Is there another day?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I got the Rahi. I got Rahi's, Rahi 1, Rahi 2.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
And you got more, I mean, more hearings coming up?
Yes.
Okay. All
It
right.
is on the day after tomorrow.
Okay. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
See you. Uh-huh.
So we have letters to be read?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're in the folder. Let's do the Pennington letter first.
You want me to read it, or you want Val to read it, or somebody from the district, or?
I think y'all should read it aloud.
Where is it?
It's in the one that says, it's in your Kindle Fire.
Yeah, what is it, under what?
Pennington, it says letters to be read.
Letters to be read.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's two letters, Atkins and Pennington?
Yes,
Okay.
Pennington. Go ahead and, Robert, if you'll read that aloud.
Okay, let me read the letter first, and then I'll read the ACAD notes. Is that the right order?
Sure.
Sure.
We'll figure it out. Okay, the letter, August 11th, addressed to Chairperson of the ARB. Dear Sir or Madam, please find the enclosed protest that we mailed certified on June 17th and was returned to us as undeliverable as addressed. Okay. And this is from P.E. Pennington and Company, Property Tax Appeal Specialists. And it looks like it was sent to, there's the address on the notice of protest is 1222 Highway 35 South, Rockport, Texas 78382. And this is for L&L New Ventures Limited. They were protesting Q1 and Q2. They wanted to come in person. Section 6, the ARB hearing notice and procedures. They requested notice of the hearing be delivered by regular first-class mail. And then the property owner agent for Pennington, P.E. Pennington and Company, signed it on 6/17. And there's a scan of the envelope here that says undeliverable as addressed. And it's addressed to Chairperson ARB, Aransas County Appraisal District, 601 Church Street. Is that the old courthouse or the old courthouse address?
That's the old address.
That's the old
Okay.
district address.
Rockport, Texas 78382. So apparently was not a current address.
We've had these before and took the position that they should know better.
Well, let me ask a question to Mike or whoever's in there. Does the post office not know that that's an incorrect address for this office?
I don't know that they do or don't, or what obligation they're into, but we're no longer owners of that.
Right, so there's no forwarding address there.
They were, I will say at one time right after the storm, they were forwarding stuff to our new location.
Typically, they'll do that for about a year.
Yeah, right.
There's a second certified mail envelope, also addressed Chairperson ARB, Aransas County Appraisal District, 11 Highway 35 North, Rockport. And that's not your correct address either.
Yeah, 11 Highway 35 North is our address.
Oh, it is your address. Okay.
Right.
And that was mailed August 11th.
They already heard it, but they're trying to find something.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
I just noticed that it was different, so I didn't know. It just came
Yeah.
today.
yeah.
When was the first one mailed?
First one was mailed June
Oh, I see.
17th.
May, June. So June 18th was the thing.
So we just got this letter today.
No, the first one was returned.
Return, right.
The second one was mailed August 11th, and I'm not sure when it came.
Okay.
Received August 14th. We stamped it.
Okay.
Well, an awful lot of time between 6/17 and 8/11.
Let me read the ACAD notes. It says this case was heard by the ARB on 7/15/20. Agent P.E. Pennington represented the client. The client had filed online with reason of property having an incorrect appraised value. So we did hear it?
You did hear it. I noticed though that on the protest that they are sending here, they marked the first two things as reasons, and the online appeal, the ARB ruled on one thing. So
Because that was the thing under protest
Right.
on the online was just one thing.
by the client.
Which is what we would go by typically, right?
I
So,
believe
so we didn't address all the issues that were brought forward. Is that correct?
well, there's two issues. One, we didn't have this information because they sent it to a different location. But two, you or the board has seen situations in which, you have somebody protesting as their own person, and then they have the agent that you receive later, and you've actually taken a position in the past on that.
Yeah, our lawyer told us to negate the one that's late and go with the one that's on time. And apparently
Apparently they aren't either.
7:15 was on time.
So we've already heard this. I don't understand why we would hear it again.
No.
I don't
I
think we
think
would.
we made that decision in the past that we're not going to do that.
Right. That's
All
it. Aye.
Somebody want to make a motion and we'll move on?
I don't have the names. Well, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead. You make the motion.
Okay. So I move on account, let me get the count here. Account 63645 that we heard via the property owner's agent, P.E. Pennington and Company, on 7/15, that we not go back and revisit this because we are looking, we have chosen to always take the on-time protest form, in this case online, that had only Q1 ticked. Is it Q1 or Q2?
Q1.
Q1, okay. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done.
Okay.
Got the Atkins letter.
Hey Val, check that property ID number. I think I might have gotten that mixed up from the Atkins, what I was looking at there. Just double check me there on that.
Okay. That's correct. You are correct.
Okay. We'll look at the August 14th, the older letter first. There's a second one on August 17th. Okay, it's an email from Mike Soto to Valerie Smith. website contact form submission. Name is Robert Atkins. There's an email associated with it. And it says, attention ARB review board on Friday, August 7th. I mowed, ran errands, and checked my mail at my Aransas County P.O. box as I am no longer a resident of Aransas County due to Hurricane Harvey. On Friday, August 14th, I received notice of ARB hearing at my P.O. box. Unfortunately, my review board meeting was August 13th. After my conversation with Michelle Solis, Rockport Postmaster, and several people at the Aransas County Appraisal District, including Mr. Soto, I am requesting another review board meeting. Sincerely, Robert Atkins.
Oh, he received notice of his hearing on the 14th, but it was the 13th? Is that what we're saying?
That's when he picked it up at his P.O. box. We don't know
Okay,
exactly.
So he missed it by a day, right?
Yes.
May be helpful to read the next thing before
Next
you.
letter, okay. So here's another email from website contact form sent Monday, August 17th to Mike. Name is Robert Atkins. This is message, ARB email addendum. Please correct ID number to 63348. Please add these relevant details to my email dated 8/14, which we just read. As stated, while I was in Aransas County on Friday, the 7th of August, I did check my mail. There was no letter from either the Aransas County tax assessor or the review board notifying me of the meeting on the 13th. On 8/14/20, when I returned to Aransas County to do errands, such as picking up my mail, I received the envelope and opened it in the parking lot, which informed me of my meeting on 8/13/20. I promptly re-entered the post office and had a conversation with Michelle Solis, the Rockport postmaster, to discuss why the postmark was July 28th, my birthday, and why I was just receiving it now. I also informed her I am not currently residing in Aransas County and don't check my P.O. box daily. However, on my previous visit to Aransas County on August 7th, I did not have this in my P.O. box. She reluctantly said there were some issues with addresses too close on the envelope, and problems occurred in which the letters were returned to sender. I asked for a letter stating the issue of delivery, and she declined. When asked why there was not a return to sender or change of postmark with no response except have someone call her, and complaints to 1-800-ASK-USPS. Complaint has been filed. So in conclusion, when I did receive the envelope in my when did I receive the envelope in my P.O. box? ? So he's asking the question there. Not till after I picked up my mail the afternoon of the 7th. Could I have checked my mail again before the 13th? Yes. However, that would have taken a 2-hour round trip from Swinney Switch to Rockport Post Office and back. I appreciate your time and request a new review board meeting. Sincerely, Robert Atkins, and his phone number. I don't know about you, but I'm inclined not to give him
I think he's having his mail sent to the wrong address. I mean, if he only checks the P.O. box once a week or once every 2 weeks or something, that's the wrong place to send his mail.
Correct.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense that he's living in Sweeney or whatever that is.
Swinney Switch.
Swinney Switch, yeah. I agree. I think we should decline it. Maybe somebody should suggest he change his P.O. box, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You want to make a motion?
yeah.
Go ahead, Robert.
So on case number 2020-1481, I move that we not give Robert Adkins a new review board hearing date, as he was not checking his mailbox every day and probably should have had his mail forwarded to some other location.
Swinny switch.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I believe that's all we've got for now.
Okay, now, I'm not going to be there tomorrow. Do you want to, is Scott still there?
I am.
Scott, do you want me to sign the orders this evening while you wait?
It's not up to me. It's what Val wants.
Yeah, that would be great.
So yeah,
Okay. And I will be here on Wednesday. So, or when will you bring me this stuff for Wednesday? Tuesday night?
yeah, I'll just make my rounds tomorrow night. I'll just drop stuff off just like normal and you'll be on my route.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so you're gonna pick stuff up tonight and drop stuff off, Scott?
Yes.
Okay, now Wednesday afternoon, I have to leave about 3:30, but I think that, let's see, Charlie, Robert, Ramona, and Cindy should all be here, so that should be okay. Correct?
Yes, I'll be here Wednesday.
Okay.
And I'll be here.
I'll be here till about 3:30.
And I will be in the ACAD office tomorrow morning for hearings. And I'll take Charlie's place.
Okay.
Okay,
And tomorrow's a half day, so the morning.
all right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting today.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. We are adjourned.
We'll see you later, Scott. Oh, I think we're all gone.
Val gives me. Bye.